The premise is simple yet profound. Intelligence, when perceived as an unfair advantage that one did not laboriously earn, becomes a target for resentment. Schopenhauer's observations about the human condition reveal that our natural inclinations, our will, desires, and emotions, are fraught with envy. This envy arises partly because intelligence exposes an imbalance in what is considered fair in the distribution of human attributes. By playing dumb, individuals can mask their intellectual abilities, reducing the potential for envy and thereby creating smoother social interactions. Arthur Schopenhauer, a 19th-century philosopher renowned for his pessimistic worldview, held that human nature is dominated by irrational forces, primarily the will, which drive individuals to act not out of reason but from base desires and impulses. In his magnum opus The World as Will and Representation, Schopenhauer describes life as a relentless struggle, wherein human beings are driven by an insatiable desire to possess and dominate. This perpetual striving inevitably gives rise to negative emotions, such as envy, resentment, and discontent, as individuals compare themselves to one another. Schopenhauer observed that envy is a fundamental human emotion, one that stems from the realization that some individuals possess qualities, talents, or advantages that are not equally distributed. Intelligence, as a manifestation of innate cognitive ability, falls squarely into this category. When one person exhibits extraordinary intellectual capacity, others may feel not only inferior but also unjustly deprived of what appears to be a cosmic lottery win, a gift of intellect that seems to have been handed down without the need for effort or sacrifice. According to Schopenhauer, one of the reasons intelligence is so prone to inciting envy is that it is often seen as an unearned gift. Unlike achievements that result from hard work, intelligence is frequently perceived as an innate trait, a natural endowment. This perception creates an imbalance in social dynamics. Those who are less intellectually gifted may feel that the more intelligent among them possess an unfair advantage. The idea that some are born with it while others are not can trigger feelings of resentment and inadequacy, fueling a cycle of envy that disrupts interpersonal harmony. In Schopenhauer's view, the possession of intelligence, like all forms of innate advantage, comes with a burden. Those who have been endowed with superior cognitive abilities often bear the weight of being set apart from the average person. This difference can lead to isolation, misunderstanding, and even hostility from others who view intelligence as an affront to the egalitarian ideals of society. Thus, Schopenhauer suggests that intelligence, while a source of personal power and insight, can also be a source of social friction. The unfair advantage of intelligence. Intelligence, by its very nature, is often considered a boon, a trait that opens doors, enables rapid problem solving, and fosters creativity. However, because intelligence is generally seen as a natural endowment rather than something earned through diligence or sacrifice, it can be perceived as unmerited. This perception, that one has received a gift without having paid the price of effort, can generate a sense of injustice among those who struggle in intellectual pursuits. In other words, intelligence is envied not merely because it is useful, but because it disrupts the notion of a level playing field where every achievement is thought to result from hard work. Humans have an inherent tendency to compare themselves to others, a behavior that is deeply rooted in evolutionary survival mechanisms. In a social setting, such comparisons can become particularly acute when one individual exhibits a marked advantage, such as high intelligence. Those who perceive themselves as less intelligent may view the brilliance of others as a reminder of their own shortcomings, which can lead to feelings of inadequacy and resentment. The intellectual elite, therefore, might find that their natural gifts inadvertently cast a shadow over their social relationships, alienating them from peers who feel threatened or diminished by their presence. The paradox of intelligence lies in its dual nature. It is both a gift and a curse. While intelligence facilitates achievement and understanding, it also places individuals in a position of superiority that can breed envy. This duality creates a scenario in which the very attribute that should be celebrated becomes a source of interpersonal strife. Schopenhauer's philosophy suggests that envy arises not from the mere possession of intelligence, but from the social implications of having an advantage that others perceive as unearned. In this context, playing dumb becomes a strategic maneuver, an effort to downplay one's intellectual assets in order to avoid provoking resentment. The social consequences of displaying intelligence. Displaying intelligence openly can yield significant benefits, such as respect, admiration, and opportunities for leadership. However, these benefits often come at a steep social cost. The brilliance that earns accolades in academic or professional settings may not translate as well in everyday interpersonal interactions. In casual social settings, overt displays of intelligence can be interpreted as arrogance or condescension, exacerbating feelings of inadequacy among peers and potentially isolating the individual from their community. Historically, many intellectuals and artists have reported feelings of isolation and alienation stemming from their advanced cognitive abilities. Their unique perspectives, while valuable, can also set them apart from the mainstream, leading to a sense of loneliness or social exclusion. In extreme cases, this isolation may even fuel further resentment, as those who feel left out or misunderstood may harbor negative emotions towards the intellectual elite. In light of these challenges, many gifted individuals may choose to conceal or downplay their abilities in order to foster better social cohesion and avoid being ostracized. Social dynamics are intricately woven with the threads of envy and competition. In any group, individuals naturally compare themselves with one another, and those who exhibit exceptional qualities are often seen as benchmarks for success. However, when the attribute in question is intelligence, especially one that appears to be an unearned gift, the resulting envy can be particularly intense. The intellectual advantage is seen not just as a personal asset, but as an unfair imbalance in the social ledger. This can lead to subtle forms of sabotage, exclusion, or outright hostility. Recognizing these dynamics, many gifted individuals have found that adopting a more modest, or even self-effacing demeanor can reduce the likelihood of triggering envy, thus facilitating smoother social interactions. Playing dumb as a social strategy. Given the social pitfalls associated with overt displays of intelligence, many highly gifted individuals choose to play dumb as a form of strategic modesty. This deliberate downplaying of intellectual ability is not a sign of ignorance, but rather a tactical choice designed to foster more egalitarian interactions. By presenting themselves as less intellectually intimidating, these individuals can diffuse the tension that might otherwise lead to envy and resentment. This strategy allows them to build rapport, gain trust, and operate within social settings without drawing undue negative attention. The decision to play dumb is not about devaluing one's own abilities. Rather, it is about understanding the social context and adapting accordingly. When intelligence is understated, the gifted individual is less likely to trigger defensive responses in others. Instead, they become perceived as relatable and approachable, which can be advantageous in building collaborative relationships and fostering a supportive community. In professional settings, this approach can lead to more constructive teamwork and open dialogue, as colleagues are less inclined to feel threatened by someone who appears to be modest about their capabilities. Historical and contemporary anecdotes abound that illustrate the value of playing dumb. Many celebrated inventors, scientists, and thinkers have employed this strategy to navigate the treacherous waters of envy and resentment. For instance, some geniuses have cultivated an image of humble simplicity, allowing their work to speak for itself while maintaining a low profile in social interactions. This tactic has often enabled them to avoid the pitfalls of envy and maintain a focus on their creative and intellectual pursuits without being sidetracked by social friction. In everyday life, the phenomenon of playing dumb can be observed in various forms, from self-deprecating humor to the strategic understatements made in conversations. These tactics help diffuse potential conflicts and create an atmosphere in which ideas can be exchanged freely, without the burden of perceived superiority. Schopenhauer's philosophical insights on the price of intelligence. Schopenhauer was acutely aware of the burdens that accompany intellectual brilliance. He saw the highly gifted as often being caught between two worlds, one in which they possess profound insights into the nature of reality, and another where they are isolated by the very qualities that make them unique. In Schopenhauer's view, the possession of extraordinary intelligence is akin to holding a double-edged sword. It offers the potential for great insight and achievement, but also invites isolation, misunderstanding, and envy. This duality underpins much of his pessimistic outlook on human existence, wherein the pursuit of knowledge and understanding is both a noble endeavor and a source of personal suffering. According to Schopenhauer, the more one delves into the realms of abstract thought and intellectual exploration, the more one becomes estranged from the everyday experiences of ordinary life. This estrangement can lead to a sense of disconnection and alienation, as the highly intelligent find it difficult to communicate their insights in ways that resonate with others. The resulting gap between the intellectual elite and the general populace can foster feelings of resentment, as others perceive the gifted as detached, superior, or even contemptuous of common concerns. In this light, playing dumb is not merely a tactic for social survival. It is a means of bridging the gap between two disparate worlds. Schopenhauer also contended that envy is a natural byproduct of human insecurity. When individuals are confronted with someone who possesses an apparent advantage that they themselves lack, it can evoke deep-seated feelings of inadequacy. Intelligence, being an innate trait that one does not necessarily earn, exemplifies this dynamic. Those who are less endowed intellectually may feel that the more intelligent have been unjustly favored by fate, leading to a corrosive sense of envy. This envy is not simply a personal failing but a reflection of the broader societal discomfort with disparities in innate ability. By choosing to play dumb, the gifted may effectively neutralize the potential for envy, thereby reducing the social and emotional costs of their advantage. The paradox of genius and humility. The paradox of genius is that while intelligence can elevate an individual to great heights of achievement and insight, it can simultaneously isolate them from the very society they wish to influence. The highly intelligent are often forced to navigate a delicate balance between expressing their true capabilities and tempering their brilliance to avoid alienation. Schopenhauer's insights suggest that the price of genius is not only the burden of deep understanding, but also the isolation that comes with being different. In this light, humility, whether genuine or feigned, emerges as a necessary counterbalance to intellectual brilliance. Humility serves as a protective shield that allows the gifted to engage with the world without inciting the negative reactions that their unvarnished intelligence might provoke. By downplaying their abilities, intelligent individuals can create a more harmonious rapport with others, diffusing potential tensions and fostering an environment of mutual respect. This strategic humility does not require one to deny their true nature. Rather, it is an acknowledgement of the social dynamics at play. Recognizing that intelligence can be both a blessing and a burden, the act of playing dumb becomes a calculated choice aimed at preserving interpersonal harmony and emotional well-being. A critical challenge for the gifted is balancing authenticity with adaptability. On one hand, there is a natural desire to express one's true intellectual self. On the other, there is a pragmatic need to fit within social norms and avoid provoking envy. The art of playing dumb, when executed with finesse, is not a betrayal of one's true nature but a testament to the ability to adapt and thrive in a diverse social landscape. It involves a delicate negotiation between being true to oneself and recognizing the emotional and psychological realities of those around us. Schopenhauer's philosophy invites us to consider that sometimes the path to greater influence and fulfillment lies in the subtle art of self-modulation. Critiques and alternative perspectives. Not everyone subscribes to the idea that playing dumb is beneficial. Critics argue that concealing one's true intelligence can lead to self-limitation and a failure to fully realize one's potential. Authentic expression, they claim, fosters genuine connections and promotes an environment where ideas are judged on their merit rather than on the perceived superiority of the person presenting them. In this view, the emphasis should be on cultivating a culture that values intelligence without breeding envy, rather than encouraging the gifted to hide their true selves. There are also potential risks associated with playing dumb. Understating one's abilities may lead to missed opportunities for leadership, innovation, or recognition. In highly competitive fields, being overly modest can be mistaken for a lack of competence, resulting in the undervaluation of one's contributions. Furthermore, consistently downplaying intelligence may cause internal conflict, as the individual struggles to reconcile their authentic self with the persona they present to the world. The paradox of self-worth and external validation. At the heart of the envy triggered by intelligence lies a deeper issue of self-worth. Many people, regardless of their intellectual abilities, struggle with feelings of inadequacy and the belief that they do not deserve success or brilliance. When someone possesses extraordinary intelligence, it can inadvertently highlight these insecurities in others, leading to resentment and jealousy. Schopenhauer's insights remind us that the external validation of intelligence is often less about merit and more about the projections of our own insecurities onto those who seem to have an unfair advantage. For the highly intelligent, external validation can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, recognition and praise are affirming. On the other, they can attract unwanted attention, envy, and even sabotage. The paradox is that the very qualities that make someone brilliant also make them a target for negative emotions. In this light, playing dumb becomes a protective measure, a way to safeguard one's sense of self-worth while avoiding the pitfalls of external validation that can destabilize personal relationships and professional collaborations. Ultimately, reclaiming self-worth in the face of envy requires a deep, internal transformation. It involves recognizing that true value is not determined by comparisons to others but by one's inherent worth as a human being. Play dumb to win. The idea that it pays to play dumb is rooted in the complex interplay of intelligence, envy, and social dynamics, a theme that Schopenhauer explored with unflinching honesty. Intelligence, seen as an unearned advantage, can arouse feelings of resentment and inadequacy in others, setting the stage for social isolation and hostility. In response, many gifted individuals adopt the strategy of playing dumb, a deliberate downplaying of their cognitive gifts, to avoid provoking envy and to foster more harmonious relationships. This strategy is not an admission of inferiority but rather a calculated adaptation to the social realities of envy and resentment. Schopenhauer's philosophical insights reveal that intelligence is a double-edged sword, capable of elevating an individual to great heights of achievement, yet also isolating them through the envy it incites. The paradox of genius demands a balance between authenticity and strategic modesty, a balance that enables the gifted to navigate social settings without sacrificing their true nature.